All right, cool. So we are live on YouTube. I want to share my screen just so we can go ahead and get started. All right. Okay, Hotep, and good morning, everyone. This is Brother Omawale, the co-host of AI Philly's weekly crisis and response COVID-19 conference call. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the meeting started with our opening prayer. So I'll be reading AI Philly or AI's daily prayer. So I'll get started. O Amen Ra, Mother who feeds us, Father who protects us, you watch upon the creation, you are the creation. O Amen Ra, your breath is the pulse of the cosmos, your shadow covers the universe, from east to west, from north to south. O Amen Ra, my heart is humble before your majesty. O Amen Ra, protect all of us, we are mortal and fallible. Remove from our path all obstacles and protect us from illness, meanness, greed, and envy. O you noble spirits, you watch upon the creation, you are the creation. We feel your presence in water, fire, earth, and air. We can hear you in thunder and the ocean's waves. Your brilliance is that of the stars in the midnight sky. Your radiance is that of the sun in the noon sky. O you noble ancestors, you watch upon the creation, you are the creation. Our blood is your blood, our flesh is your flesh. Look after us, we implore you. Some did not wake up this morning. Some will not go to bed tonight. Keep us alive. Keep us healthy. Protect our children and their children. Protect our wives and husbands. Protect our neighbors and friends. Protect Africa, which needs it so much. Protect us who testify today about your greatness. Protect us, we who keep shrines dedicated to you and your glory. O you noble ancestors, the day is long, the night is long, and the opportunities to betray Ma'at are numerous and constant. Allow our heart to be inundated with Ma'atic thoughts. Allow that from our mouth only comes Ma'at and Ma'at only. Give us the courage and the strength, the integrity and the determination to fight for a world, for a better world, for an Africa that is united, strong, and free, for brothers and sisters who do not feel inferior anymore. Remind us all the time that it is better to die standing up than to live on our knees. O you noble ancestors, like you, we wish through our actions on earth and this life that you gave us to earn eternal life. Keep us on the path of Isfet. Apologies. Keep us on the path of Ma'at. Help us defeat Isfet so that our children and our children's children call upon our names. Remind us night and day, whether we are asleep or awake, that unity is our aim and victory is our destiny. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Okay, family. So just a really quick reminder, the purpose of this call is an opportunity for us as AI Philly and our broader network just to check in on a weekly basis during the period where we are meeting remotely or having virtual meetings. We wanted to make sure that we had enhanced opportunity just for us to stay connected as a community. So during these check-ins is an opportunity for us to um, provide any health concerns or you to provide any health concerns that you may have just to keep us abreast. If you're having any essential resource concerns such as food or medicine shortages, you can let us know so that we can rally our resources and do what we can to assist you in your time of need. And then last but not least, this is an opportunity for us to provide any vital COVID-19 updates, especially with so much confusion going on, so many politics around this virus. We want to make sure that our community is staying protected and staying safe and is staying well informed. So with that said, we put together a 5-person crisis response team that consists of myself, Sister Kizzy, Sister Tata, Brother Maurice, and Sister Wawa. Sister Wawa won't be joining us this morning, so I'll be covering her area. But what I'm going to do now is just mute my mic, and I'm going to allow Sister Kizzy to just briefly come on, provide any updates or any changes from the previous week as it relates to the environment and health and safety.
Hotep, thank you. Good morning, everyone. So I will be brief this morning. First, just for the city of Philadelphia, um, we have seen a downward trend in new cases as well as new deaths. Um, we are by no means out of the woods yet. A large part of what I really wanted to touch on today, um, to Brother Omawale's point, is this confusion and chaos around opening versus not reopening and people getting antsy and just ready to get out of their house. The weather's breaking. Here's the thing. Um, there are reports eh, locally, nationally, internationally of areas that we, a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, had sort of placed at the top tier of modeling this is the way that you work through and eradicate this virus. They began to reopen prematurely, and now you're seeing a spike in cases, which essentially brings us back to the end of February again. And so as different states and different counties begin to start having the conversations about what makes sense for reopening, I think now more than ever, we need to be more conscientious of what we are doing in our own individual communities because what I am coming to see, at least in terms of how we're trying to figure this thing out, is that you only have so much that you can depend on in terms of your state leadership. We already know what the deal is nationally, um, and really local government before you have to start making some independent choices for yourself in order to protect your health. Now, 2 weeks ago, Brother Omawale asked whether or not we were on track to be reopened by May 8th, which of course we currently are not in the city of Philadelphia and will not be for some time. And there's been pushback from other leadership within the state towards the governor and people really pushing to get things moving again, get the economy going again. Now is not the time to do that. And so I just urge and implore you, if you can help it, to do your best to continue to follow the basic guidelines, maintain your distance, avoid public places if you can, wear the mask when you have to go out in public, um, and continue to ride this out because there's still a ways to go. Um, there are also ways that you can sort of, I guess, put your foot in the door in terms of supporting these efforts. I know that the health department is currently and actively trying to hire people to support the contact tracing efforts. And those positions are fully remote. You just need a phone and a computer and an internet connection. Um, and that's just extra money in your pocket, and you don't need to have a background in public health or a full understanding of public health in order to do these things. But for us in particular, I just really ask that people are vigilant and intentional about what they can do in order to maintain their own personal health and safety because it feels a lot like it's coming down to the individual and coming down to the community to ensure safety. And this isn't something that we didn't already know before. It's just now sort of blatantly in our faces at this point. And the people who are making decisions on a higher level don't seem to be on one accord and thinking in a way that makes sense and logical. And so that's kind of the string that I'm playing on this morning is just reminding people that although you see all of these other states opening up, all these other cities trying to reopen, you will see that spike in cases again. And it's only going to bring us to a more complicated place that we're in now in terms of trying to manage this thing and understand what it looks like. The last thing I'll say about this is thinking through what the next 18 months look like, what testing and vaccines and all those kinds of things look like. And I err on the side of caution and people, particularly our people, becoming excitable around getting a vaccination. This may be like a premature conversation having this the summer in 2020, knowing that there likely won't be a viable vaccination for another 18 to 22 months. But they're going to be looking for people to start to test those things on. And we know who those people generally and typically are first in line to reach out to. And so I'm just putting the seed in the ground now that we need to be very mindful of when those things start to come up and when you start to get the random mailers and phone calls and surveys about coming to try the new coronavirus vaccine. Um, and just being very thoughtful about whether or not that makes sense for you and your family and your home in light of all of the other chaos and confusion that has surrounded this virus and the ways that we've seen it impact our community in particular, among other communities at large, and what the long-term effects are of being the first person in line to try a vaccine for a virus that we know very little about right now. So that's my little 5-minute soapbox speech. But if there are other questions, I'll be ready to answer those as well.
Sister Kizzy, thank you so much for that update, especially the piece about the vaccines. We actually are supposed to be touching on that during our next episode of the African World Order podcast. So that should be a pretty lively discussion. I
Yeah.
did have just one really quick question. You said that the number of cases and the number of deaths in the city are trending down.
hmm
So is the testing also trending down, or is it still at the same level, or have they increased testing?
That is sort of the answer to that, I would say, is sort of nebulous. um,
Okay.
um,
Because I mean, it would make sense that the cases are trending down if the testing has trended down, but
exactly.
okay.
And the only reason I say that is because of all the different ways in which people are now able to access testing, and that can bypass some of the earlier restrictions that were placed on city provided testing sites and locations. Those entities are getting tests into the city for the full count at different times and at different rates. And so it's always this weird lag in data and trying to offer a macro level picture of what's happening when in real time it may not necessarily reflect the same story. And that literally just has to do with like random batches of information that we get at random times of the day. But the general scope over the last couple of months shows that there is a downward trend as it relates to the testing piece. It's until there is a fully regulated, okay, this is how we're testing everybody plan in motion, that will always sort of be a variant factor in the conversation.
Okay, cool. All right, Sister Tata, you can unmute your mic and provide your health update, health and wellness.
Hotep. Since May is Mental Health Awareness Month, as I shared last time, I'm going to keep with the trend of sharing mental health tips to keep calm during this lockdown that we're experiencing. Today's tips are going to come from the city of Philadelphia. They have a mindful #mind PHL campaign. And the theme is let's take care of our mental health together. You're not alone. Therefore, I do have some tips to share if you're experiencing anxious thoughts or overwhelming sadness. And some of these tips I already shared. They're just some general reminders that we all need to apply to continue to get through this time and other times in our lives in general. So, recognizing that we need to take care of our mental health and emotional health, it's going to be something that we can use to help fight stigmas concerning mental health, to educate ourselves, and also to inspire ourselves and others. Finding peace in the pandemic. One of the first tips that the American Psychological Association and American Psychiatric Association recommends is to connect with people. Reach out to people you trust to reduce any kind of anxiety, depression, loneliness, and boredom that you may be experiencing. You can make phone calls frequently, FaceTime and text. Those are wonderful ways to stay engaged and connect with your loved ones while you can't actually experience time with them in person because of social distancing. Second tip is to relax, calm your body, take deep breaths, stretch, meditate. I'd say daily, 30 minutes a day if you can. Pray and engage in other home-based activities such as exercising and even yoga. That's something that will help eliminate any stress that you're feeling. Get outside in nature if you're able to. Throughout the city of Philadelphia, the parks and recreation programming is suspended, but you can still take advantage of some outdoor spaces. Again, have to practice social distancing, but FDR Park, Fairmount Park, Wissahickon Valley Park, those are some of the areas that are still open to the public. Just remember to practice social distancing and wash and sanitize your hands frequently. Another important tip, do not ignore your health. So, if you are experiencing any kind of health issues and you have a regular provider that you go to, it may be possible to schedule remote appointments via Skype and FaceTime. A lot of people are getting into telehealth. So, that is something that you can look further into to see if your healthcare provider is engaging in any remote sessions. Stay informed using credible sources. AI Philly, as you see, we give information from the city of Philadelphia, from other Afrocentric organizations. Really, it's going to take a combination of credible information to help us all get through this time. So, Mindful PHL, that campaign that's running, if you go to the healthymindsphilly.org website, there's a lot of online screenings that can be done, as well as online support groups and webinars that are available. So these are credible sources that you can tap into that will properly guide you if you are experiencing any kind of mental health trauma at this time. And feel free to visit that website, read available blog posts, and just look at some of the other resources that are available. And another tip, limit media exposure. We talk about this constantly. So just be mindful of the information that you are taking into your mind. It can trigger anxiety and stress. It can sit with you and really play into a lot of the fear mongering that surrounds this pandemic in the first place. So you just want to maintain a healthy balance and make sure you're taking in a lot of positive imagery in order to combat a lot of the traumatic news stories that are being shared online and coming through your television. That's really all I have for you today, and I'll continue with the mental health tips throughout the rest of May. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Tata. Maybe if we're going to be doing mental health for the rest of the month, maybe if you have some tips for like young people and the children. I know Brother Maurice mentioned last week, the necessity for us to continue to have conversations around our children and just be mindful that they are going through this too. So maybe if you have some tips and tricks that we can share with them as well, that would be helpful.
Absolutely. That will be the following week.
All right, awesome. All right, Brother Maurice, you can unmute your mic and give your safety update.
Hotep, good morning. I just want to touch on a few things that I have noticed, and it has been pretty much across the board, locally and nationally, and that's driving incidents, accidents due to what we call reckless driving, not so much as careless driving. The two are quite different. Reckless driving is just like the idea of just not caring, just getting behind the wheel, and careless driving is like, texting. But nonetheless, the incidents are up. I just want to give a few tips that you all probably already know about, but I just kind of want to reiterate them. For us, when give yourself enough time before leaving to your destination. Prepare before you leave. For instance, if you're going to the doctor's office, you might want to keep your records together and all your vital information together prior to leaving. If you're going shopping, have your list together prior to, and your methods of payment squared away prior to leaving to your destination. Fueling up, try to fuel up prior to the beginning of your week, whether you're working or not. Take that opportunity to do that. Particularly on the Sunday is light traffic, so I would suggest if you can try to refuel on a day such as a Sunday. Make sure your vehicle is mechanically sound. When wipers are working, fluids are topped off, air in your tires. Make sure that your registration is intact. You know, you want to keep in mind to be a defensive driver. Most of the times when accidents occur is because someone is driving reckless or careless. They're definitely not considering anyone else on the road. We call them an offensive driver. So you, as the most important person behind the wheel, you want to keep in mind to be a defensive driver. You know, drive for everyone. If you're driving up to a stop sign, for instance, you might want to take that extra pause. Here in Philadelphia, we call it the South Philly roll. You know, you tap the brake when you hit the stop sign and kind of just like cruise through the intersection. Just give yourself a little bit more time. Just make it as if you're taking a driver's test all over again, and that state trooper sitting on the side of you, you know, recording you. You know, it's up to you to drive correctly in order to pass that test. So just keep that in mind. Also, when you enter into an intersection, whether it has a stop sign, a traffic signal, you may want to pause, even though the light is green. I usually take a few seconds before I enter into the intersection, so you might want to consider that as well. Cut your phones off. If you're in a vehicle, you may want to, you know, cut your phone off if it's not an emergency. I know a lot of us, you know, probably working from home. We want to make that phone call, but it's not that important. So you may want to consider turning that phone off until you get to your destination, or leaving it airplane mode, perhaps. Of course, we know that, you know, you text and drive, it can cause accidents, but I have to reiterate that, you know, to do just that. Text prior to leaving your destination is not that important that you have to text while you're driving. You know, make sure that, you know, you don't do that. And if you have to, that individual can wait until you get to your destination. You can, you know, text them at that time. You know, when you're traveling, when you're driving, give yourself some room. The vehicle in front of you should have like a car length. In front of you, you should see the rear of the tires in front of the car in front of you while you're driving. And if it's inclement weather like raining or fog, you may want to give that vehicle in front of you 2 car lengths, just for you can you know, react at a decent time. Travel speed limit, as you already heard before, speed kills, still does. And not to mention, they are, you know, strategically placed cameras now in different areas of the city, and they all covert. You can't see them; they kind of blend in with the trees. I think that's intentional, but they are going to be issuing fines at some point. If you're in the shopping center, like a Walmart or a ShopRite, and I know some of us may have done this in the past. Hopefully, we don't do this anymore. Please travel the lanes. Do not cut across the parking lots, because that is just a ingredient for a nasty accident. The way in which people are driving recklessly now, going back and forth into the ShopRites and the shopping centers. Please stay in the lanes of travel. Of course, wear your seatbelts. Make sure your children are in car seats, and make sure they're the proper car seats per their weight and their height. You know, when you park your vehicle, a lot of us just want to get out and get to our destination. Please make sure you look in the mirror before you exit the vehicle. I don't know how many times maybe you've been driving and you get out. I mean, you're driving and someone gets out the vehicle when they park. It's a scary thing, but that does happen a lot, where people are actually getting into accidents for just being careless. Make sure you have all your documents and registration, insurance, and your driver's license before leaving your home. Know the number to your roadside assistance if you have one. If you don't, you may want to consider obtaining roadside assistance. If you are involved in an accident, by all means, please pull your vehicle to the side if you can, if you're able to, if your vehicle's not disabled. There's this thing where people want to leave their vehicle in the way in which it was during the accident. That is a myth. You can pull your vehicle over, keep it safe as possible as long as you're able to. If you're not injured, call 911 for a police report, take pics of the accident, exchange information, get a report number, which is a district control number from the police department, from the police officer. You can always go online to obtain the information. If you are involved in an accident, please, if you're upset or the other individual upset, please do not engage in any confrontation. Just make sure that when you exchange information, that the documents that you get from that individual match the vehicle that's involved in the accident. You want to collect the driver's license number from the individual, address, the phone number. Make sure the VIN number matches the VIN number on the vehicle that's involved. Um, and that's pretty much it that I have for safety tips. But also want to just kind of reiterate throughout the weeks about, our talked about cyber crime, scams, skim machines at gas stations, fraud online. The most important thing is safety starts at home. So with all the information that you're hearing today and prior from these calls, please call loved ones just to check in and share the information that AI provides to our community. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Maurice, for that update. Just to reiterate, I know you've touched on this during previous calls, but about like the cyber scams. There was one that we were made aware of yesterday related to Zoom. So there are people that are sending out, it's a phishing scam basically, where they're trying to get access to your login details. Like they'll send you a notification to say, hey, you missed a Zoom meeting. If you'd like access to the recording, putting your information here. It'll take you to a fictitious landing page that looks like it's officially Zoom, but it's actually not. So just be mindful, like, cybercrime, phishing scams, and all these schemes are definitely up now. So please do pay attention. Brother Maurice goes through a lot of, he invests a lot of time and just making sure that we are staying safe as a community. But if we aren't investing in ourselves and just being mindful and paying attention to our surroundings, including our cyber surroundings, I think that all of this is for naught. So that being said, I guess I'll cover Sister Wahida's portion, although I'm not necessarily prepared to, but just from a communications perspective, the best way to maintain contact with AI Philly is to make sure that you are subscribed to our mailing lists. And if you're not, feel free to reach out by email to be added to the mailing list. You can reach us by email at victory@aiphilly.org. Of course, you can follow us across all of our social media. So that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. The new name for the YouTube page is AI Philly. So you can just search AI Philly via YouTube and you should be able to find the channel. But that's basically it from a communications perspective. Again, if you, for as it pertains to COVID-19, if you want to follow official sources, the official source that we are following for data, I believe, is the COVID-19.gov. We're using to get updates. We're looking at any CDC updates, and we're looking at any updates from the local Philadelphia. I forget the website, but maybe Sister Kizzy can give us the website and Q&A. And just from a programming perspective, again, the African Family Fitness and Survival Training Handbook is actually in production. Our goal is to have that thing complete by midsummer, so it should be coming to you soon. The Elder Care Program and our partnership with North Philly Peace Park, where we are giving out produce care packages on a monthly basis, that program is still up and running. If you are an elder and you need assistance with shopping for groceries, please let us know. Also, if you'd like to volunteer to shop for an elder, let us know as well. We are currently looking to plan our summer events and workshops for the chapter. It looks like workshops for the summer may again be virtual depending on when things open back up. But in any case, if you have any ideas for any good preparedness related workshops related to just crisis preparedness, I think that that would be very helpful. So that being said, I'm going to pause here and open up the line for anyone who may have any questions, or if anyone on the panel has any additional information they'd like to share. Now is the time to do so. And if we don't have any questions or additional inputs, I'll ask Sister Tata, Sister Tahira, if you could close us out in a quick prayer. So I'll give it 10 seconds here to see if anyone has any questions or.
I have a comment.
Yep.
Arlene, this is Arlene. Ichioma. I have a lot of people. I did a lot of news writing, and I have a lot of people who call me asking me, "Is this fake news?" I mean, and I try to refer them to different sources. But is there going to be something to maybe just to refer them to of certain things, because I know certain things come up a lot. Especially, I know you said you do the COVID-19, but I guess some people aren't getting that information. They're getting confused about when things are opening and when things, all kinds of stuff. So I'm just getting like a lot of context about that information. It seems like people don't know, and I guess they think that I would know, and I would look it up for them, but I'm getting a lot now.
So, excuse me, my allergies are really bothering me. 1 second.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I had to cough there. It wasn't a COVID cough. The allergies are really kicking my butt this morning. But
Yeah.
yeah. So as it pertains to like when things are opening up, there was a plan put out by Governor Wolf that I think it's like a green light, orange light, red light plan,
Yeah.
and I think all of pretty much southern and I guess eastern Pennsylvania all fall in like the red light district. I guess no pun intended.
Yeah.
But so
I know.
we won't be opening up. I don't know exactly what the timelines are, but what we can do
Yeah.
is in the follow up to today's call, like we can send out a communication that has that detail in it, if that'll be
Yeah.
helpful. And then generally speaking, as it pertains to other communications, there is a pamphlet that we are working on as a chapter. So if you think that that may be good information to include in our COVID-19 pamphlet, that's something that we can
Right.
definitely put there if you think it'll be helpful.
Okay, because I think a lot of people are getting misinformation because they're getting it from each other, or they're getting contrary things, and they don't know which is news and which is not, which is legitimate, which is not, that kind of thing.
That's
There's a lot of
understandable.
people.
Well, thank you so much for that, Sister Arlene. We'll definitely work on that. And when Sister Wawa sends out the update, I guess later this evening or this afternoon, we'll make sure that that information is in there.
Okay, great.
All right. Any other questions?
Just for me, but okay.
Okay. All right. Sister Tata, you want to close us out in prayer, please?
Certainly, brother. We give all praises to the Creator for allowing us to live this day and convene for our weekly call. We give thanks to the ancestors for protecting and guiding us today and all days. We stand in their greatness. We are because they were. We give love and light to our community and wish everyone peace, serenity, and good health as they travel their lives' journey to fulfill their purpose. Unity is our aim. Victory is our destiny. Ashe.
Ashe.
Shame.
All right, everyone. You all have a good day. Please stay healthy. Please stay safe. And look forward to speaking with you all again next week. Peace.
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 Peace.